I worked in nursing homes. I worked in hospitals. Was to communicate and ask them questions, specifically questions like, "Your doctor listens to you." If you ask that specifically for the intent to see if there are any biases, you're going to learn real quick. But I personally, it's not a DEI thing. It's just a culture thing. Like here's more better. You understand where they're coming from more. And I know that a well-fed person of color, they're supposed to, and because melanin actually does affect nutrient absorption. I will say
That's the thing you're doing. It's true. Listen, it's not about belief. It's not about belief at this point. It, listen, it does listen. Well, that's the root of it right there. That it has not everything that you said is only to mask the fact that you're just and because you're my sibling, I don't hate you, but the fact of the matter is you're racist. But it doesn't. It is everything that you said is to cover it up. Because what I said is that knowledge. Not hold on. Knowledge. Hold on. Knowledge is not seclusive to gender or your fucking skin tone. Meaning that if your doctor ain't doctoring you right, get another doctor. If that doctor ain't doctoring you right, get another doctor that's more qualified. The point of it is that it doesn't matter about their skin tone. It doesn't matter about their gender. All that studies that you mentioned, any doctor can do. All of those misdiagnoses that can happen, it can still happen. Listen, hold on. It can still happen. No, listen. All those hold on, because I listened. Hold on. Hold on, cause I listened. All those misdiagnoses that you mentioned, it also happens black on black, Spanish on Spanish, white on white. It does not matter. If a misdiagnosis happens, that's on the doctor, not on the skin tone. On the knowledge of the doctor, not on the skin tone. That's on the capacity of what the doctor can perform on, not the skin tone. No, I get your point. You're racist.
Oh, okay. I mean, if that's what you think my point is, then hear me out.
I am hearing you out. It's just that when I hear those, I just hear excuses.
Um, something that was, I'm going to say, a lot simpler to state. So I asked you, what was my point exactly? To be respectful of the conversation, what was my point exactly?
I just told you the entire thing.
No. You told me your point. So I'm asking you.
And I regurgitated your point too to show you that what you said made my point stronger. Okay. None of those studies that you mentioned. That's not the end of my answer. You chose to make it the end. Well, hold on. That wasn't the end of my answer. Because you asked me, you just challenged and basically said you're not really getting what I'm saying. But I wasn't done talking though.
Okay.
That was part of it. again, all those studies that you mentioned, that your point is that supposedly if a white person diagnoses a black person, they're not seeing all of the bull. They're misinterpret. I get that part. My point is, it doesn't matter. That just, to me, that's just lack of skill, lack of
Okay.
knowledge.
When Now take that information right then and there. Yes, it is lack of skill, and yes, it is lack of knowledge. All right. The reason why we have lack of knowledge for specific skin colors is why. Because historically speaking, people of color have not been an interest of, or historically speaking, of course, people didn't look into how to help people of color. Okay, it's always been like white people. Okay, it's always been like, let's do these studies specifically for white males, not even white women, because again, we are just finding out 4 years ago, that women's fucking cervix had sensitive neurons. Okay, that is wild. So what I'm saying, yes, the doctors are uneducated. Okay, next. Now, saying it, we've got more education now on people of color, and because more diversity in the scientific community to help provide studies and information to doctors now. Okay, back then, most of the studies have been done by white males, which isn't a horrible thing, but it's very limited of white, okay, or not that picture, but just like not seen. Okay, do you know who Helen is? Do you know what HeLa cells are? The whole story behind the HeLa cells. I actually have the book. Um, it's really good, and it was so good. They made it into a movie about a black woman who had cervical cancer. Um, and she got cervical cancer because of her husband constantly cheating on her. Blah blah blah. That's not the point. But the doctor secretly swiped her alive, used her as a guinea pig. He found out that her cells, her cancer cells, were almost considered eternal cells. It continuously replicate them. So they're called HeLa cells. HeLa cells are the cells used today still to research cancer because they're eternal. And now, only up until like I think it was like 8 or 10 years ago, no, maybe like 15, anywhere between 8 to 15 years ago, they start getting compensated because they went through so many lawsuits because her family wasn't being compensated for all this research that they stole herself essentially without her knowledge, without her consent. This is how they treated black people. Okay? And it wasn't for like saving black people. It was just so they could help white people. So what I'm saying is, because of the issues of this white men, have limited knowledge of diverse bodies. Okay, and we now know that people of color receive different amounts of nutrients because melanin, okay, reacts differently when you have high melanation. Melanin is not just in your skin or hair or eye or color. It is also in your central nervous system. It is located in your brain next to your hippocampus and your thalamus. And it's also located in your spine. Melanin not only gives you your pigmentation, but it also reacts to sunlight and converts it to something else. So, and not only does it do that, but sound. Melanin is extremely reactive to electromagnetic waves. Okay? With all of that, this is new, right? This is new. This is like because what happens when people start studying people of color to help them, not to use them. So we learn that people of color need higher nutrition, like nutritionally dense foods, okay, than white people. Like white people, their bodies can almost thrive with kind of like those plants that like. That's why the studies show that when you provide the right nutrients, their bone mass is larger. Okay, they're just slow developmental delays. So now that we have these more studies, you see a lot of people of color remembering, okay, soul food was invented because slaves ate the shitty parts. So they weren't given high nutrient foods like apps. So they had to do with what they had. So now it's like, yeah, it tastes good, but because they had to beef it up with like high fat, high sodium, just more things that don't do well for your body. Along that, now you have a transition of people educating themselves. But God forbid you give intelligence or education to people of color. They started learning all this shit. And you see waves of people, okay, changing their eating habits. That's not just for people of color, though. It's also like generally the amount of alcohol loss. Like people aren't doing unhealthy things anymore. It's not trending to like unhealthy. And it's not trending to be super skinny either. It's like people care about health now. And we're seeing that. So unfortunately, we live in a state, not Ohio, but I think our governing state, where we lobby, like corporations lobby, pharmaceuticals lobby, and our government gets paid, it gets their pockets filled when people lobby. And now because the public is more educated and becoming healthier, people are not going to doctors as much because they're not having a problem with people's finances. Okay, it's just a big. It's not just one issue. Okay, it's a fucking slew of problems, a domino effect, and other things. But you know why she needs a black doctor? Is it because white doctor isn't qualified? It's because the white doctor doesn't understand being a person of color. And historically speaking, and now there's still internal bias. It wasn't also up until recently that people found out that black women actually felt pain at all. That's crazy. Someone wrote that, okay? And that's been taught. And now that we live in a world where they're trying to be like halfway stereotyping people and people are listening to stereotypes, yeah, it's like if you're not helping to fix the problem, you are the problem. If you're going to continue to spit out stereotypes when out here I'm looking at people constantly working hard to not be a stereotype, you're part of the problem. So, yeah, I'm not racist, but I'm not an idiot either. I do think that Um, the reason why we're in a good space right now is because we have far more women and people of color in the medical and in the scientific fields, in STEM fields, all in all. Um, that's why we're learning stupid shit like, I mean, I already that I'm a fucking woman, but you talk to a doctor about that, they're like, what? Specifically, the old boomer doctors. Oh my fucking god, fuck that. No, no. Did you know?
Wait, hold on. Before you jump to another, because I need to respond. Like, when am I going to respond?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did definitely go on a tangent for sure.
All of that you said, I'm not dismissing it. Again, research
Okay.
belongs to everybody. That doctor that misdiagnosed your neighbor's daughter, it is not because they're white. It is because they lack the goddamn knowledge. It does not
Yes, you're right.
fall upon your skin tone. Is there more women doctors? Is there more
No,
colored doctors? Yes. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about your skin tone, and it does not matter about your gender. You should not be recommending or looking for a doctor based on skin tone. Instead, you should be seeing what they know, what their
so you
knowledge is, or what they bring to. Hold on, yo, I listened sat in silence. I sat in silence. Hold on.
you're right.
When you're looking for a doctor, you should not be looking at their skin or their gender. You should be looking at, can they perform their job? Do they know how to do their job? Do they have knowledge about their job? Like are they going to, if new stuff comes out, are they going to take the time to re-educate themselves? Like I get everything that you said. I get that, and throughout the years, more knowledge has been learned because more and more different types of people are coming into the fields, and they're learning. But at the end of the day, a Indian doctor can be just as good of a doctor to a white person as a white doctor to a white person. A Hispanic person can be
I
just
agree.
as great of a doctor to a black person, just as a black person doctor could be a great to a black patient. The skin tone is even, and when I hear people bringing that up and saying that that you should be looking for this and that because based on your skin tone or based on your gender, or you should be uh, um y- basically like what you said. The only thing I hear out of that is number one, you're trying to live your life by having always an excuse. That's number one. Number two, you're keeping racism alive because it doesn't matter how pretty you make it. The moment you say that you need to go right then and there, bang, nothing about your skin should be mentioned. Go find a more qualified doctor. That's what
No,
keeps
I
racism
completely
dead.
agree.
Okay, that's
So,
hold
so
on, hold on, hold
I
on,
agree.
hold on. And
You're
so
100%
hold on. So when you're saying, when you sit there and you tell me that I know that you're not racist because you're my sibling, but words that you are saying bullshit. Uh,
racist.
that's bullshit. Anybody could be fucking.
I don't think
No, I do. Racist. So don't. So let's not. I'm sorry, but anybody can be racist. That's not the only form of racism. Okay, don't even get me started on that.